You're really good. Have you ever done this for money before? How many of you would applaud, be honest now, if the applause sign had not gone on? You know how I got that reaction? I just turned on the applause sign. All right. Thank you for coming. We have a good show tonight. Aren't you a sartorial... You're a paradigm for the rest of us.
Little something I picked up in Rome.
Are you serious?
Yes, I got it. That's the day I went to see the Pope.
Excuse me a minute.
And he wanted to know what Johnny Carson was really like.
Oh, now get out of
there. That's true.
Anyway, I have a late report from the newsroom just came in. Our new national security advisor, William Clark, just put all his watches into a blind trust. Let me remind you tonight that in case of flood, your seat cushion can be used as a flotation device. Those of you who fly, that always kills me, that thing in an airplane. Have you ever seen that, the seat cushion? How would you like to be in the ocean with that seat cushion as a flotation device? Anyway, welcome to the show. We, of course, we say Hollywood. We actually do the show from Burbank, California. Lovely community. People say, what's to do? There are a lot of celebrities live in Burbank. Did you know that? A lot of famous people. For example, we have a famous inventor that lives in Burbank, Dr. Leopold Fechner. That's right, Dr. Fechner. And Dr. Fechner's latest invention is for people who want to commit suicide in the shower. It's called rope on a rope. I should point out that some of Dr. Fechner's inventions leave a little to be desired. He came up about a year ago with the first solar-powered pacemaker. It gets you through the days all right, but the nights you're pretty much on your own. You know, I ran into a British couple today from Britain who were vacationing here today, because our show goes over to England, yes. You know, and once a week. And I asked them, I said, do you get the Tonight Show where you live? And they said, yes, we watch it, but we don't get it. We're trying anyway. Well, as I mentioned Mr. Clark. He is our new, William P. Clark is our new national security advisor. Had his first day in office, and according to reports, he found a tape in his office desk drawer, and it was apparently of Richard Allen's meeting with the Japanese when he was, you know, arranging the interview with Nancy Reagan. And on the tape, you could clearly hear Allen saying, gee, I was hoping for a Longines. Apparently, there's been some change with our national security advisor. William Clark is now being given access to President Reagan whenever he wants it. And also, Reagan is being given access to Haig whenever he wants it. That's kind of a nice thing. Sometimes I just take deep breaths between these jokes. Right now, the thing going on in Washington, they're having a lot of high-level policy talks. It's on the agenda at the White House. For example, there are high-level meetings going on between West Germany's Chancellor Helmut Schmidt, our new national security advisor I just mentioned, William Clark. General Haig is in on those meetings. President Reagan. George Bush, our vice president, is not in on those meetings because Reagan has given him another duty right now, and that's to see that the surplus cheese does not fall into the hands of unscrupulous, starving middle Americans. And Leonid Brezhnev, Soviet premier, again denied today that the Soviet Union played any part in the military takeover of Poland. Brezhnev also said in the same conversation that they did not invade Afghanistan, that all of those guys there are on a singles vacation called Club Red. That's all it is. There's not much good news. The stock market. Are you into the stock market at all?
Not too much.
I don't want to be personal in front of all the millions of people here, but 17 points went down today. I don't have to worry because I have a financial genius, bombastic Bushkin. No precious metals. Told me to buy kazoos a few years ago. And he put me into precious cheese. The San Francisco 49ers football team are working out right now on the football field in Anaheim where the Rams play, getting ready for the playoff game against Dallas this coming Sunday. Who says we don't have a championship team in Los Angeles? Have you seen the commercials on television of the Ram owner, Georgia Frontieri, during the American Express card commercial? Yeah, she's doing American Express card. I think she's trying to get enough money to sign Vince Ferragamo. He was a quarterback we had here before. Are you ready for the weird news item of the day?
Yes.
This is one of those little things that you see in the newspaper they use as a filler item. Back in New Jersey, 2,000 pounds of human hair that was going to be made into wigs fell off a truck in New Jersey and blocked the highway. Police are still combing the area. I would have made that up even if it didn't happen. Anyway, that actually did happen, too. They swept up all the hair, and Reagan announced he's going to give it to the poor as part of the surplus dandruff program. Anyway, tonight, we got two very amusing people on the show tonight. Ed and Doc. Arrivederci, Roma. Questo mi piace. Oh, nice. Oh, no, we have Mr. Alan King with us tonight. And Charles Nelson Reilly is also here. So it should be fun. Thank you. We'll be back.
And the great NBC Orchestra. This is a perfect crowd for our first guest. This crowd is just great for this guest. A famous visitor from the East. The all-omniscient, all-seeing, all-knowing, all-telling, famous seer, sage, soothsayer, and former air traffic controller, Carnac the Magnificent. I just thought to myself, you've been visiting us now for 20 years.
That is true.
Wonderful when you come to visit us. It's always so enlightening for us. I hold in my hands the envelopes. A child of 4 could see these envelopes are hermetically sealed. They've been kept in a mayonnaise jar on Funkenwagnall's porch since noon today. No one knows the contents of these envelopes, but you, in your mystical and borderline divine way, will ascertain the answers to the questions, having never foreseen the question. Isn't that true, sir?
If Carnac has time after that explanation, yes. To be padding your part.
Nice to tell them what you're going to do before you do it. Give them a rough idea. We're getting to the humor. Envelope number 1. Hermetically sealed. Awaits.
Thank you. Are you finished? May I have silence, please? Especially from you.
Yes.
The answer to this question, sealed in this envelope, is a Christmas tree and Richard Allen.
A Christmas tree and Richard Allen.
Name 2 things that got tossed out after the holidays. Fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
If it keeps raining, who'll be patrolling California's highways?
Very
good. Carnac not used to this overwhelming vote of confidence. Police are still combing the area. Sheep and husbands.
Sheep and husbands.
What does Elizabeth Taylor count to help fall asleep? On Golden Pond. Where do urologists play ice hockey? Betty Crocker, Julia Childs, and Princess Diana. Name 3 women with something in the oven. Lawrence Welk and Rubik's Cube.
Lawrence Welk and Rubik's Cube.
That's what I said. Name 2 things that are square and hard to understand. Muammar Gaddafi. Describe the sound a cow makes when it loses its lunch. Pennies from heaven. In the year 1990, how will the Social Security system be funded? Sweet and low.
Sweet and low.
How does Mickey Rooney like his women? Mr. Whipple, the Pillsbury Doughboy, and Mrs. Olson. Name the next 3 people signed to fight Muhammad Ali. Windex and Pablum. How do you feed a test tube baby? What do you feed a test tube?
I hold in my hand the last envelope.
May a weird city councilman rezone your sister as a business district. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Arthur, and Taps. Name 2 movies and the Los Angeles Rams fight song. Thank you, Doc. If you just joined us tonight, Alan King and Charles Nelson Reilly are here. Remember occasionally when we do Carnac, and I will say a weird holy man may despoil your sister's hope chest or something?
Right, yeah.
Well, some of you are. I wish I had his name. The fellow was kind enough to send us in. He was on vacation in India. And he took a picture of a holy man on the streets of India and sent it in. He says, here's the weird holy man you're always talking about. This is not a gag shot. This is just the type of people you see. There's... He said, is a weird Indian holy man. Is that something? I wish I had the fellow's name. We'll set that in. Now, anything we talk about on the show, if we get in any discussion, you can be sure that we will hear from an expert in the field. Remember the night we got a question from Blue Cards in the audience? A wild question. And somebody said, which is cleaner or fresher, a dog's breath or a person's breath? And we were discussing it. You know, do you remember how that ended it all?
Exactly, but the dog's supposed to have a very clean mouth. I know that. Well, that's one thing.
I heard from Warren Eckstein, who was a veterinarian, who apparently was on the show with David Letterman. I guess when David had his dumb dog
show
on. Doesn't David
the dog over here, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't David have a dumb dog?
He has a dog named Bob,
or something?
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, he said he appeared with David Letterman, and recently on your show you had a discussion with Ed on the cleanliness of a dog's mouth in comparison to that of a human. As an animal behaviorist, I thought you might like to know the reason. The space between each tooth of a dog is greater than humans. Therefore, without that closed space, apparently bacteria...
Doesn't collect that much.
Doesn't collect as much, and dogs apparently have better breath.
And a cleaner mouth.
And a cleaner mouth than most humans. Now, I wouldn't have known that, would you?
I'd heard it. I mentioned it that night. I'd heard that it's...
Well, you've known some dogs. You've had dogs.
Yes. I know what you mean. You're referring to the fact that I have sold dog food for 20 years.
That's
Naturally,
right.
I would meet a lot of dogs.
Right.
And we together have met a lot.
Yes. He has a P.S. here. As the owner of a pet pig, I can vouch for their extraordinary intelligence.
Yes.
Because I have often said on this show, too often, that a pig is smarter than a horse.
Yes.
And you keep saying that a horse is
smarter than the pig.
Well, this man says that they're extraordinary.
Where's he from?
What do you mean, where's he from?
What town is he from?
He's from Queenside, Long Island, New York.
Oh, that's way out.
Way out what? What's that got to do with it?
I mean, it's way out. If he's not nearby, you know, we could have him on and challenge him.
Are you still holding to the fact that a horse is smarter than a pig?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid that no, that's not true.
Oh, you
pig
have not brought me any evidence.
I'll give you evidence.
All right.
A barn catches on fire.
Yes.
A horse will run right back into the barn.
He may have left something. Like humans run back into burning buildings.
No, not very often.
They do to go get something.
But,
sure
that's stupid.
Sure, it's
that
stupid.
shows that they're stupid.
Yeah.
You don't run back. A pig would not run back into a burning building.
He's too busy out in the mud eating orange peels.
Well, oranges are good for you, and the peel is the best part of it. No, anything at all.
Why don't we eat them?
What?
Because we're stupid. Okay.
No, I eat oranges.
Do you? You peel too?
Well, nobody's going to give me a bucket of oats and get on my back and ride me for a mile and a quarter either. You know, get me up at 6 in the morning and say, let's go around the track. A pig will lay in the mud and say, get out of here.
Wait a minute.
I don't run around no track.
You do that for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then they send you down to a big farm in Kentucky and have all these female horses. You just kind of have your way with all of them for the rest of your life. That's not bad. 3 years of getting up early, I'd do that.
Yeah, but you last about a week on that farm, too.
But what a way to go.
Pig just lies in the mud and goes... Anyway, that's enough of that. They don't care, and they're clean. Pigs are clean.
I don't
know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to introduce Alan, but we wanted to get this out of the way. Why, I don't know, but we'll do this commercial, then Alan will come out and back me up on this.
We're not sure.
Oh, yes, he will. So stay where you are. We'll be back. That's nice. My first gift tonight. My first guest is an old friend, very funny man. He wears many hats, because he has many heads. No, he doesn't. I mean, well, where does that expression come from? You know?
I don't
We'll
know.
have to check on that. Why will we have to check on that? Nobody cares. But I mean, he comedies and he
Comedies?
He comedies, he produces, he does all those kind of things. And he has a starring role in the movie Author, which is currently filming. That means right now. I'm just on the edge.
I know. Let him come out and comede.
Why don't we do that? Would you welcome Alan King?
Author, which I wish it was Arthur.
Yeah. Was that a big money?
That'd be twice as good as Arthur.
Yeah, I guess it's it's only the 6th of January, so Happy New Year.
Thank you.
When do you officially quit wishing people Happy New Year? Is there a cutoff date or something?
Well, I just saw somebody in Los Angeles this afternoon still selling Christmas trees.
That wouldn't surprise me. Well, they're aluminum out here, of course, so you can sell them all year round. Crazy. How are you?
I'm very well.
The beard we talked about last time Alan was here, it's for the picture.
Yeah, and I have another 3 weeks of shooting, and I'm going to shave it off. It's getting a bit uncomfortable.
Were you surprised that it turned out as white as it did?
Actually, no. I just can't keep putting the crayon on my face. You know? No, I just put the beard on because, as I said, I have 7 scenes with Al Pacino, and I was looking to put a ring through my nose or, something, or he's such a fun
little distraction. Yeah. You're working with the top people.
Super guy.
What do you want to talk about tonight?
I don't know.
Discussed
How about pigs and horses?
You have anything to say about that at all?
Yeah, Jews are smarter than both. We don't bet on horses and we don't eat pigs.
Good, very good.
Now to the prepared material.
Are you speaking? Are you Orthodox Jewish? Don't you eat?
No, I
eat pork at all. I mean, now.
Yeah,
there's some modern Jews.
Yes. No, but I come from Orthodox family, and
right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with eating bacon and ham and everything.
Right.
But it just gives me a better feeling. Yeah. Not eating it because of my background and my training and my heritage.
Yeah, those things hold tight, don't they?
Yeah, it's important. It's important.
Let me ask you something. Did your mother want you to be? I know one of your brothers is a doctor.
I have
right. Two,
3 brothers.
All doctors?
3 brothers are the doctors, and the only one who makes a house call is my mother. My mother did want me to be a doctor.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Was she terribly distressed when she found that you were working up in the mountains at 15 and doing jokes?
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, when you're the youngest of 8 children, and they were all geniuses at school.
Right.
And I had to follow in their footsteps in the same classroom. So much was expected of me.
Right.
Then I was crazy. I was always getting into trouble. And I went away with Major Bo's unit. I came in second on a Major Bo's. Major Bo's was the very famous old...
He preceded, for the younger viewers, he preceded Ted Mack.
Right, he was the Major Bo's amateur. And we're talking about you, Major. And...
Major's gone to that great wheel up in the sky.
Yes.
Round and round she goes.
I came in second. The guy that won it, I'll never forget, I was 14, was a bald-headed man who took his knuckle, banged on his head, and accompanied himself to the bells of St. Mary. Which... I'll give you an idea how good I had to be to come in second.
I'm not trying to top your story, which I can't. I was on, remember the old Horace traveling show? I went on that once in Omaha and lost to a guy with an accordion who finished with Lady of Spain. And there is no way on this earth, if you have to follow a guy playing Lady of Spain, with lots of those, you're out of it.
But, but what really was interesting, at least to me, was the fact that I was making, this was Depression years, I went on tour with the Major Bo's units, and I was making $75 a week. My father was making 35 or 40, And so I had this obligation, this family feeling, of course, and I kept sending money home. So my oldest brother, one I've always, ridiculed on television.
Oh, the
doctor.
Yeah.
And I sent him to Syracuse, which I'm very proud of. He went to Syracuse and graduated cum laude, Harvard Medical School. He went into the Army, World War II. A first lieutenant, came out a lieutenant colonel. He was the youngest member ever elected to the College of Diagnosticians and Surgeons.
I didn't know that.
And I wouldn't let him cut my nails, Johnny.
No, it's your brother. It's your brother.
He was 14, he used to wet the bed. My mother still calls him the Midnight Sailor.
You don't want to go to any doctor who was called the Midnight Sailor.
That's right.
How does he take this when you come on television and you do this? Because he's got to face his colleagues the next day.
He doesn't have a private practice anymore. He's semi-retired.
Discard, eh?
No, but he's a consultant. He teaches. He's a consultant. The consultant, that's the guy you bring in when your doctor screws it up. You bring my brother in, and he confirms it, you see? He's the guy that hums you to death. You ever see the guy? I love when the consultant comes in and they look at the charts and the guy's laying in the bed there, and they go, like the guy's going to get up and dance or something. But he got very upset. We just had Christmas in Florida. We had kind of a family reunion. And my brother doesn't drink, but we had a couple of boozers for my birthday. And all of a sudden, it all came out. You know, he said to me, "You think it was easy practicing medicine with you as a brother? You think it was easy going into surgery Monday morning when you were on the Ed Sullivan Show Sunday night with your big mouth?" And, you know, I saw this picture. Can you just see, as they were wheeling the bodies into the operating room, the nurse would say, "Did you know that Dr. Nyberg is Alan King's brother?" You could see all these people jumping off the table, naked people running down Fifth Avenue, you know.
Well, you really did a number on him. You would really go after him.
Well, because...
For all doctors, generally, not just
Yeah,
your
but
brother.
you see, it was a personal thing. I felt that the age of specialization is going to destroy us. A
Yeah,
doctor's
no
a general practitioner.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do, sir? I'm a right nostril man. That's all he does. Yeah. Then he's got a partner that's left nostril, you know. And the thing that has always annoyed me, John, is the fact that their knowledge is no good to us because they won't share it with us. You can't get them on the phone.
Yeah.
I said to my brother, why don't you try calling your office, disguise your voice, and see if you can get an appointment with you?
Yeah.
It's always, "Miss Halsey speaking. How do you do? I'd like to speak to the doctor." "Oh, the doctor's quite busy right now." "Well, of course, I'm glad he is. I don't want some yutz waiting around for the phone to ring."
That's right.
And what do I have to do to speak to him? "Well, what is it about?" "Well, I'd like 2 tickets to Fiddler on the Roof." I'm sick, you know. But you know, the nurses... Johnny, the nurses don't realize what they're saying. They really don't.
What's it about?
Yeah, no. What is it about? I said, "Well, I'd like an appointment. 1 moment, please." "How about a week from Tuesday?" I said, "Swell, I'll have the hearse drop me off. That'd be nice." "I won't have him nail the lid so the doctor can look in." What is that? I mean, it really is outrageous. They don't realize this. And it's terrible. You know, things like...
You know what drives me crazy nowadays? Luckily, I'm in good health, but I went to the Mayo once for one of those checkups. You know where you go.
It's quite a place.
And all of a sudden, as you get older, these kids come in, which are doctors. And you think it's some, a guy down on an apprentice training program, and they're specialists. Because as we get older, and the doctor comes who's 28, and some of them look like they're 21, and they got a tie-dyed smock on and gold chains.
And, usually long hair tied in a bun.
Yeah.
That's always nice. And they speak Hindu.
Yeah, I want a doctor like Norman Rockwell used to have on the cover of Saturday Evening Post. I want gray hair, spectacles, sitting by the bedside, holding your hand. And this kid comes in and say, "Hey, man, how's it going?"
Yeah, what's happening, Daddy? When my father was operated on, my father's an irascible, wonderful man, and this doctor came in. He must have been 12.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm your doctor." My father said to him, "No, you're the son of the doctor."
Send me a doctor.
Send me a doctor. Got to be over 50.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time, but yeah. My grandfather, who died...
lived to be...
104.
Oh, come on.
No, seriously, 104.
Well, that's remarkable.
And he was a rabbi, and then in the days when the rabbis wore the striped trousers and a silk hat, the cutaway coat. He was an amazing man. And he was getting, I don't like to use this word because it's overused, the bit of senility was setting in, But he was already about 100. And he lived with my mother. And now I have 3 doctors in the family, right? And the old man got up one morning and he wore the high boot, the high shoes with the elastic on the side. And the old man walked in, if I may, he walked in dragging the leg. And my mother got hysterical, and we called my brother, and I said, "You better get over here right away." He says, "Well, I'm not orthopedic. I don't care what you are. It's your grandfather. Get over here." Right. And there was a St. John's Hospital in Brooklyn, and I drove the car. It's absolutely true story. They took the old man 100 years old. What did he know what day it was, And we took him to the hospital, and we were very close, and I kept holding his hand. And he looked around like he didn't know what they were doing to him. And they put him in, and 3 doctors and they were banging him, and they were taking tests. The old man was sitting there. And I waited about an hour, and my brother brought me in, and there were all the charts, the x-rays. And he says, "Well, Alan," it says, "the x-rays show nothing." He said, "But you got to understand, a man who may be 100, they weren't sure how old he was." Yeah. He said, "The calcium deterioration," and they went into some long Latin... I said, "Well," he said, "What do you do?" He says, "Well, what we're going to do is we'll put ace bandages on, on the leg, and give him some support." My brother Reilly was a bookmaker. And, it's the old joke, if it wasn't him, we'd all starve to death.
That's right.
My brother Reilly came overnight, everybody was upset. and we told him the story. My brother Eddie went into the bedroom, looked in the shoe. My grandfather's socks from the night before were jammed into the toe. That's why. And they were looking at the X-rays.
Take the socks out.
The socks were in the shoe from the night before.
Remember the guy who had the terrible migraine headaches? The eyes bulged all the time? And we went to all these doctors, and they said, we don't know what to do. You know, they gave him 6 months to live. And he says, I have this terrible pressure, he said, around the temples. Absolutely. He said, my eyes are bugging out. The doctors didn't know what to do. And then, he said, if that keeps up, you're going to die. And the guy says, well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to live it up pretty good. He said, I'm going to go out and buy new clothes and go to the best restaurants and so forth. And he goes in the men's store. Don't you remember this? He says, I like some new shirts. And the clerk says, what's your next size? And the guy says, 15. He says, you were a 15. He says, you'll get pressure up here and your eyes will bug out. He says, you need a 15 and a half. He said, that'll kill you. Take a break and we'll be right back. Stay where you are. I'm going to bring Charles out here to join in this discussion. You know, I mentioned that you wear several hats. Charles Nelson Reilly also wears a number of hats. He is an actor. He's a very fine director. And he's bizarre. He's one of the truly silly people, which makes life fun. You should be crazy. And he's starring in an up-and-coming special with Mikhail Baryshnikov. And he'll be in a 2-hour episode of Love Boat. As if time goes by, in this country, everyone in the country, sooner or later, will be on Love Boat. Would you welcome Charles Nelson Reilly? You didn't take that about everybody in America being on Love Boat as a downer, but I see people, right? Big casts. Everybody appears on Love Boat.
Hello. We're all friends from New York. You know what I mean? It's a Happy New Year. Thank you for my lovely voiceover introduction. It was lovely. Thank you for everything. 20 years, congratulations.
Thank you.
I won't say Happy New Year because we're not supposed to do that, right? So, but anyway. So,
just settle down. It takes you a while now to really get acclimated.
I did Love Boat.
Yes.
Now, I never do nighttime TV because, except this. Because I'm on daytime. I'm hot on daytime.
I know, you were very good on the match game.
Well, I'm so hot on daytime, it's frightening. You know what I mean? But so I don't do nighttime. I pass it by. Why would I want a series? Why would I want to be that hot?
Of course.
So I do daytime. So they called me for Love Boat. I went. It was terrific. It was my home studio, 20th Century Fox. I pull it all together, you'll see at the end. But 20th Century Fox. And I did 4 years. I love it there. And I went and did Love Boat 2 days. 6 o'clock, you got to get up for 7.
Yeah.
Make up 7:30. You get there at 7, you get a free breakfast. So my last play on Broadway was, of course, you know theater, so you don't know. So you're looking over there. See, my last play on Broadway was Charlotte. And you're drinking. See, this is interesting.
You were looking... I figure while you're looking at Alan,
no,
I can get a quick drink.
I know, but I mean,
Alan's
I'm
drinking while
look at him. I got a
That's right.
So anyway.
So your last play was Charlotte.
Well, that was my last play.
No, that was not. No, so I did Charlotte, which was not a good play. In fact, they're still getting over it now, and that was 2 years ago, because I'm hot. So anyway, I did this play for 2 years. For 2 years ago. And I bought tote bags for the cast. You know, opening night, you got to get a special gift for Broadway. So I bought these wonderful tote bags that said...
Charlotte.
Exactly. It said Charlotte, red and brown. They were adorable. Now, there were only 2 people in the cast, so I saved a lot of money. You just said buy 2 tote bags. It wasn't Chorus Line or Evita or something where you could cost a lot of money. 2 bags. So for 2 years, I carry my little bag that says...
Charlotte.
Thank you. And I carry it with me, and it has my hair in it. And it has the script that I'm working on.
What do you mean it has your hair? You should tell them that you...
Well, it's hard to believe, but I'm wearing...
No, I knew it without even knowing.
And they didn't comb New Jersey either, the police.
That's
right. This was so tricky, the police.
So you got you got the piece in the bag.
Oh, thank you. Right. I have the police in the piece in the Charlotte bag.
Right, that's right.
And I get to 20th Century in the morning. I did 2 days. This was the second day. And you get there at 7 o'clock, and you have fun, because I worked there, and I used to wave to the guy. Bobby, hi, how have you been? You know, because you're back at your home studio.
Of course.
And I didn't wear this. I wore a simple morning outfit, you know, and then you waved to everybody. And these are the people you love.
Of course.
And then I put my bag over here on the canvas chair, which is my tradition. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I do something, I put the bag with the in the thing.
Right.
Now, I'm working opposite a wonderful actress, my friend for years, Miss Charlotte Ray.
Oh, she's very
Who's
funny.
terrific.
Very amusing.
We're doing a 2-hour special. We have big parts. It's my second day. So I put my hair in the bag. That's marked Charlotte. Now, Charlotte has now become famous, like I have. You know, after so many decades, finally they go, oh. And so, you know, we get famous. So Charlotte now has a secretary. So at 7 o'clock, I'm sitting on the set with my bag, and Charlotte says to her secretary in her trailer, she's dropping big words like secretary and trailer, there's a bag on the set with my name on it. Will you go out and get it? Because you have to bring it back. So the secretary goes out, and she's looking for a bag on the set that says Charlotte.
And naturally,
my hair is in the bag. So they take the bag and they go away. I don't know that because I'm waving, Bobby, how wonderful to see you.
because you're back at your old
Well, I'm
studio.
in my home studio.
Right.
So finally, cute. So finally, they say, Mr. Reilly, makeup and hair. And I go, well, because they got to match the shots from the day before.
Sure.
I mean, I got hair, you know, these beautiful curls on the deck the day before, and you can't put a line in that says what happened to Harry's hair. Well, it was a big wind, and it blew over. I mean, it would be hard to follow.
His head caught
You know
on
what I'm
fire
saying?
last night. You got to match the course.
No, so I said, well, I was sure I was bringing. I thought I brought it. It was right here, my hair. And I have cute baseball caps. You know what I mean? And then you have to face the back. I love you. So anyway, to make a long story
It's too late.
more boring.
Too late now. Yes.
They had to hold up shooting for 5-6 hours while I found this secretary in the beauty parlor with my hair.
Don't you have standby hair? I mean, a couple of.
At $1,900? No, I have one.
You're putting me on.
No, that's how much they cost. This is 3 Italian women. One for white.
I didn't know that.
Yes, one for white, one for all these things that you have to know if you have your own show.
So you only have one?
At night, yeah,
You
one.
don't have an emergency?
No, the whole thing is an emergency. I wouldn't know the difference. But anyway, what happens lately is I've been throwing them away. You know what I mean? I go to a hotel.
Yeah.
This is so. It's not. The thing is, I shouldn't return to nighttime TV. No, what I'm saying is, I go to a hotel and I take it off a lot lately. I haven't had it on much. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I think so.
So I take it off. I'm trying to get into the older parts. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever worked Sans hair?
Yeah. On all the other shows before I got this, I had no hair. I was like bald. They said, here comes the bald man. I walked in. I went, hello. And I waved to everyone on the set. But
That was your home base. You hadn't been there for a long time.
you know what? I want to get rid of it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm practicing not wearing it. So I throw it away a lot. But now you don't know where it is. And it sticks. Because it's got to stick. I mean, if you're going to go dancing, you know what I mean?
Therefore, it makes it very difficult, I suppose, to throw away. I mean,
Right, and then it sticks. But sometimes I put it in a towel and the maid throws it away in the hotel.
she must have thought that had been a hell of a party. When she come in, you know, what fun that boggles the mind. Can I do a commercial here?
Oh, sure.
Sure, we have to do this,
Okay.
you know.
I love
We'll
you.
be back. And
All right, we'll discuss
Hi,
it.
Bobby. We just have a couple of minutes here. What's in store for you this coming year? I haven't seen any commercials lately. You used to do some commercials for Mr. Wizard.
Oh, yeah, I did a lot of commercials, but you see, I confess this in nationwide television that I'm a kiss of death for any product I work for.
Why?
Well, because I do a commercial, and they call me up and they say, Mr. Reilly, they're not moving in the shelves, and they're not selling. So it's been a terrible situation, so I don't look for that. Because they call you in the morning, they say, Mr. Reilly, we have a new mint? What is that word? Because I never went to school. I had no money.
A new mint?
It's an annuity. I'll be all right. An annuity. Right? They call you up and they say...
Residual.
Residual.
They say...
A guaranteed annual wage, an annuity.
So I didn't have a governess or anything. I just tried to get through. It's an annuity. They always call up.
In other words, if it does well.
I've got a block against the word. An annuity.
Right.
Right. So they called me up years ago. They said, you will be the Fresca father. I was chosen.
Yeah.
As the Fresca father. And it would be a... Annuity. I'll be all right. And so I go to New Jersey where they had...
Annuities.
Yes, and they had the house. They were going to do the Fresca. I was the Fresca father. There was the Fresca mother, the Fresca...
Yeah. You have 1 minute to tell us about being the Fresca.
When I didn't get a Christmas present this year, I knew.
It was trouble. Right.
So anyway, it snowed. You remember how it snowed?
Always in Jersey, yes.
Not in New Jersey, in the Fresca commercial.
In the commercial, sure.
They don't listen. It snowed like hell in those
Yes, I remember.
Well, the woman threw us out because the house was inundated with snow.
Yeah.
The other commercial I did was Hudson Superpower napkins, which is on the tip of everyone's tongue. Now, I don't think they're any more in business. I don't care if I say the wrong thing. I'm under pressure.
What happened there?
Well, what happened there? This is interesting. I was going to be a comedian because I got pies in the face. You see, that was the gimmick of the commercial.
Were you Mr. Napkin or?
No, I was just not. It wasn't that big a deal, Mr. Napkin. I mean, if we were all Mr. Napkin, think about it. But anyway, I was just a simple person sitting eating, and when I got hit with a red pie, I took out a red napkin.
Good.
Isn't that clever?
Yes.
Then I would sit there and I get hit with a lime pie, and I would take out a green napkin. Then a yellow pie. I love you. The plane will leave for New York soon. The man is frightened of me. Right. And then if you're hit with a white pie, it's a cream pie.
Right.
And you take up the...
White napkin.
God, you've got a show here.
Yeah.
And you see, what happens is, by 4 o'clock, they turn into rocks, these pies.
Yes.
And all the teeth came out, but we only had a minute, and God, I've got such fabulous stories.
I know you have. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. Okay, we're just about out of time. I look forward to seeing you on the High Seas and Love Boat.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice night. Thank you.